Ladies and gents and the rest. Hello, it's me, your little friend Bulava. And I've recently done surgery for those who don't know, and my everything that I see is still kind of blurry, especially when two huge lights are looking at me like that. But I'm back to streaming, to YouTubing, to everything. Hopefully it will never end anymore because I don't plan to do any surgeries. Shit. Today, yeah, I brought you some positivity. We're going to be talking about two games that I would like you to pay attention to: Sunderfolk and Ashes of Creation. We'll talk about Ashes of Creation at the end, at the end, second part. And Sunderfolk, I want you to take a look at this game. By the way, Bulava is this thing right there. That's Bulava. Well, technically, it's Bulava, but English speakers are too lazy to pronounce it correctly, and nobody knows how to say it. So, Sunderfolk, the reason why I want you to pay attention to this game is because, number one, I've been asked a few times after I quit Rumble what mobile game I will play next, and I was like, I'm done with mobile games. It's pay-to-win piece of shit, right? No matter what mobile game you're playing. And this game is going to be coming out on all the platforms that exist, like consoles, PC, and mobile. That's why there is a good chance that this game is going to be like Marvel Snap and kind of like Hearthstone. But Hearthstone is bad monetization wise, but Marvel Snap is really good. And the reason why I'm confident that this game is going to be worth it playing is because the publisher of this game is a studio called Dream Heaven, which the head of the studio is Mike Morhaime, former CEO of Blizzard, and one of the guys who started that first Blizzard that made all these great games. Not today's Blizzard, that first Blizzard. Mike Morhaime was one of those guys, and he is the publisher of Sunderfolk. So that's the reason why I think this game is going to be really good. And if you're fans of Heroes of Might and Magic, which is a great game, it's kind of the same play style, so it doesn't require a quick reaction because, like I said, people from this channel are old people, and we need something slower. Which is this game? This game is perfect for you, and if you're into that, at least take a look at the trailer. The trailer literally came out like 2 weeks ago, and before that, I haven't seen any news about this game. So the game is like right now they're looking for people for beta tests. I signed up from 3 different emails. So obviously, I'm not going to get it as always, right? But there is a chance to get into closed beta, and so yeah. By the time the game comes out, if you start paying attention to this game right now, you're going to be fully prepared and you're going to do really well in this game. So that's Thunderfolk. Now, Ashes of Creation. First of all, there is like, I don't know, 300 or 400 pages, if you make a book out of it, to tell you what Ashes of Creation is going to be. I'll try to explain everything with 1 or 2 sentences, every single topic. Obviously, it's going to be super general, but it will give you an idea of how good I think this game is going to be. Ashes of Creation. First of all, I'm going to be comparing Ashes of Creation with World of Warcraft because this is the only MMORPG I've played in my life, like seriously and at all. I had like 13 years of experience, right? So if I know most of people from this channel are Blizzard people, so you know what World of Warcraft is. At least you have a general understanding. So first of all, Ashes of Creation will not be for everybody. It's gonna be the devs said it's gonna be done. It's gonna be made for not for masses. So I suppose it's gonna be a very hardcore game. So you would have to know life this game if you want to be successful. It's not gonna have a box, so the game will be completely free. You only pay for a subscription, and you can pay for cosmetic things in the store. That's it. That is the idea. The devs wanted to make a game that will be that will have no pay to win. That was one of the main motivations of the devs that are making this game. Okay, lore. The world we're gonna be in is called Vera. Like I said, it's gonna be like 2 or 3 sentences. There was a huge war between gods and ancients. There's always something like this in every game, right? People escaped through the gates from the planet. In some time, the gates are opened again, and few adventurers decided to go back and take a look at what's happening with Vera, with our world, right? And you're going to be one of those adventurers if you pay $15 for a subscription fee. I thought it was for free. That's how it goes, okay? So you literally, when the game starts, you're standing in the Vera, and there's gates behind you from the world you escaped to before. That's lore. Real quick, classes. Well, first of all, it takes 250 hours to level up from level 1 to level 50, which is the maximum level in the game, which is roughly like 45 days of hardcore playing, which means, like I said, the leveling system is going to be like more from WoW Classic. So, the classes. There's going to be 8 classes, which can be combined with the same 8 classes, which means we have 64 combinations. So, let's take a look at this. I'll pull up the screenshot on your screens. So let's take a look at the very left column that says base class. Fighter is, like I said, there's going to be some similarity with World of Warcraft. Fighter, from what I saw, is a warrior, arms and fury warrior type of thing. Tank, well, we'll talk about the tank later. Rogue, it hasn't been introduced yet. It's going to be introduced later on, but by looking at what the devs say, it's going to be the very similar rogue from the World of Warcraft to the ones from World of Warcraft. Ranger reminds me of a hunter, but it has some crazy abilities on top of that, and it doesn't have a pet initially. The ability, I saw some abilities where like this ranger, it does like a huge jump, and you can shoot while you're jumping. Like it has some abilities that I haven't seen in World of Warcraft, but overall, this is very similar. Like if you played one of those classes that I just mentioned, you will never be like you will not need to learn anything new. You're gonna feel pretty comfortable. If you're a hunter, ranger is gonna be your class. Mage is mage. Everybody understands what it is. Summoner. So I don't really know if it's gonna be like a beastmaster type of summoner or necromancer type of summoner, but that again, it's gonna be introduced later on. Cleric is a priest, and Bard is a very interesting class that I have never seen before in any other game. So it's like you literally hold the book, and you have your spells are called like novels, songs, tales, fairy tales, stuff like that. So you read something, and it's like it gives you AOE buff or AOE spell around you. So you can buff things, you can debuff things, and your ultimate abilities are called like poems or something like that. It's like a AOE things, but super strong, super usable, super important. That's what I was gonna say. So this class is gonna be like a must-have in every raid group, I'm pretty sure. Every class is soloable. Is gonna be viable if you want to play solo. However, the way the game works is that classes and builds are gonna be hard counters to other classes and builds. There will never be like a build of one class that can beat everything. You're going to lose to something and you're going to win something. That's how it goes. And as you can see, you will be able... and the tank. First of all, the role is a class here. By looking at what it looks like a paladin tank or like a warrior tank. So you're holding a shield. By the way, you're going to be able to hold any weapon that you want in your hands. So there will be like a huge space for creativity. So the tank is going to be the tank role is a tank class pretty much, right? And like I said, you see there's a row here with the exact same names. You will be able to combine your main class, like it's called archetype. At level 25, you will be able to pick a subclass, which is from the same list of classes, right? So the dev said that if you take a tank and you combine it with a tank, which will be called Guardian, it's going to be the strongest tank in the game. The toughest, that has the most defensive abilities and stuff like that. Also, every class here, like for example, if I take a fighter and I mix it with a cleric, which is aka priest, right? It's going to be called high sword, and the way it works is the abilities of fighter will never, like you will never get any additional abilities when you find your subclass. What happens is the effects and the mechanics of your existing abilities change, but that's it. You're not going to have millions of extra buttons if you combine it with a second class. So there's no point to simplify it, go in fighter fighter if you just don't want to have to press extra buttons, you know. That's how it goes. So the next feature the devs are super proud of is nodes, because the nodes is something that the world has never seen. So, well, first of all, the size of the whole world in Ashes of Creation, if you played World of Warcraft, it's Azeroth multiplied by 22. I don't know if the ones who calculated that included Northrend and Maelstrom, but I think it's Eastern, Western Kingdoms, and Northrend times 22. That is the size of the map. So what you're looking at right now is a map that is separated into different pieces with different colors. So these colors are nodes. What the hell does that mean? You're going to have 4 spawn points, but let's say, okay, let's just zoom it. Like, you see this 4.1. There's going to be 85 changeable nodes and 3 nodes that we cannot affect. So what do I mean by that? If you, for example, if you get to this piece of land, this green piece, everything that you do here, chopping wood, mining ore, killing monsters, hunting, it affects the node. And these effects, depending on what you do inside of this node, will transform this node. So when the servers launch, everything is going to be the same on every single server. But because people play differently on different servers, these things, these lands, are going to be changing. And the cities that will be built, by the way, when you play long enough as a group, you will see suddenly that in the empty spot where it used to be a forest, now there's a little camp that will later transform into a village, and then town, and the city, and the final stage will be metropolis. But like, obviously, in order to upgrade that, you would have to work on this city. And there's going to be a huge system inside of the city. You know, you'll be able to elect the mayor and stuff like that. I don't want to get into that; it's very complicated. But this node system is something that the devs think will be super pooper great. It looks very interesting, but we have to experience that first, right? Next feature of the game is cities and houses. So cities, like I said, cities are formed. Like the first village will be formed randomly, from what I understand. But eventually, if you want to live in like a huge developed city, people would have to work together and, you know, elect the mayor and stuff like that. There's going to be like a huge complicated system. Maybe we'll talk about it later. I don't think so, because the Alpha 2 starts this week. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to see that. But houses is very important. There's 4 types of houses that you're going to be able to live in. Mansions there's only 8 mansions inside of the metropolis. It's like the highest. Actually, inside of any city, there's going to be 8 mansions. The very first citizens of the village will be able to get them. You can sell them and buy them, but the cheapest mansion you can get is that you have to buy a little piece of shit house inside of this village, which will eventually grow along with the city you live in. So mansions, instanced apartments. You know, it's like a garrison in World of Warcraft. You know, everybody opens the same door but has his own place. I believe there's going to be inns, kind of like a hotels. All of that is either taxed or paid, right? And the 4th type is freeholds. Freeholds, it's like it's your own space with, you know, with the ground where you can plant things, with the house, with the plot for your profession buildings and stuff like that. So this is your own space that cannot be attacked by anybody. And it's located outside of the city, but very close to it. So only 10% of players will be able to have freeholds, and 100% of players will not be able to have their own housing. It's not going to happen. But you will be able to share your house whatever it is, with other people. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be like, a bunch of illegal immigrants that are that live in one apartment or something like that, maybe. That is how it works. And freeholds, and actually the stuff inside will have a lot of cosmetics, and some cosmetics will actually have a real effect. They will prolong your rested experience, or increase the duration, or maybe increase the effectiveness of resting experience if you buy a bed made certain way by a carpenter. We will talk about professions later. And there are going to be cosmetic pack. There are going to be skins for your buildings as well. You'll be able to purchase them, and you will be able to earn them in the game. And also, depending on what race you play, I'm not paying close attention to races, because there's first of all, we don't know much about it yet. We don't know what the difference is. But plus, from what I understand, the race will not be attached to the class, and you will be like, any race can be anything, so it's no big deal. But cosmetic effect will be applied depending on the race that you play. Like if you're a dwarf, you're gonna have a dwarf house. And the way that cities work, if the majority of the contributors of experience in a city are dwarfs, for example, the city will look like a dwarf city. If those are orcs, it's gonna look orcish, and so on and so on. Crafting. Everything in the game will be a gold sink, like even mounts. So we'll talk about mounts in a second. There's going to be 22 professions. You will be able to learn all 22 professions. You can only be apprentice in 5 of them, journeyman in 4, master in 3, and grandmaster in 2. So you can only be a grandmaster in 2 professions, which means, I don't know why would you need to be an half-measured crafter in other professions instead of just being able to master 2 of them. I don't know why the system works this way. But now let me explain to you how, in my opinion, players that don't have time to play hardcore will still be able to be in a very high demand if they learn one thing really well. The way you craft mounts, I don't have any. I'm not going to put reading on the screen. So the way it works is, let's say you want to craft a PvP mount. You will need the horse with a lot of specific stats. The way it works is you have to catch 4 different horses first. So you need the horse from the desert. You need the horse from that only can be found by the river. And you need 2 more types of horses. So you have to find them all first. You have to bring them. You have to tame them, bring them back. Like you have to, like if your professional level is high enough, obviously. So you find the horses, and you bring them back, bring them home, and you start breeding them. Once you know the right formula and you breed the right horse, you will start training the horse. From what I understand, the way you train a horse, like we can have both the exact same little horses, we can breed them correctly and have the exact same initial horses, like when they're little ones. But if we train them differently, like for example, if I do a much harder quest with this horse, it's going to be trained better and it will have better stats or better something, So you can literally be the best crafter if you just hardcore one thing. You can be a best crafter and you can have the best mounts. And from what I just said, you can see how much effort and time making one right mount will take. So people will need a lot of crafters, and they will need a lot of good crafters. So the horse that has a little bit higher stats can cost way more money than the other horses. All right? And like I said, everything is a gold sink, so your mounts can be killed. So from what I understand, if you're going to get crowd controlled somewhere while you're sitting on the mount, your mount dies first. If somebody focus fires you, they can kill your mount. That is how the crafting system works. I believe, I'm not going to get into every single profession, but you see the idea of how interesting all of that is. PvP. Well, first of all, we're gonna have all the normal activities that people usually have, arenas, battlegrounds, and stuff like that. But on top of that, something that makes this game special, or maybe it exists in some other games, I just don't know that. Let's start with caravans. Caravans, first of all, there is no way to play Ashes of Creation without escorting caravans, because we don't have, like, in order to move material from from point A to point B, you would have to use caravans. There's no way you can avoid that. Obviously, caravans can be robbed. You can be a defender of a caravan. You can be an attacker. Obviously, you can plant spies everywhere, and you can just literally do business by robbing caravans, stuff like that. Caravans can be upgraded. So caravan can have more HP, can be faster, can have weapons on it. And some caravans are going to be really hard to rob, but they're going to cost a lot of money, obviously. And they will also have cosmetic skins, so you will be able to, make your caravans look badass. And the way it works is, if you destroy a caravan, the boxes that you're going to see, in order to see what's inside, you would have to open them. But if you open them, they lose their value. Okay? You're going to get only a portion of what was inside. So the best way to rob a caravan is that you rob a caravan, then you take out the item that is your caravan, you wait a little bit, it has to construct. You build your caravan right on the corpse of the caravan that you robbed, then you move all the things into that caravan, you go to the nearest city, and you unpack stuff there. And that is the best way to rob caravans. That gives you huge profits. Also, from what I understand, there are going to be vendors in every city that sell basic stuff. Like, for example, you buy salt for X gold. But if you get this salt to the other city, you're going to get you're going to vendor this salt to the same vendor in the other city, and you're going to get 5x of the gold amount. So if you don't know, like, if you don't need to transport something for real, like, some herbs or metal or whatever you're doing, if you just want to make money, you can just run caravans back and forth and make money. And the harder I think it takes to get to the other city, the more gold you're gonna get. So you can just literally buy stuff in one city, caravan them to the other city, and just make 5 times of profit, 5x profit. All right. There is, like I said, there is so many things to talk about. I just don't want to waste your time. This video is already going to be super pooper long, so I'm just jumping. Like I said, I'm trying to put everything in like 2 or 3 sentences, and it's not working. Naval PvP. So I didn't even know that naval PvP will be in the game until I looked at this cosmetic pack that is no longer on sale because it was sold out a long time ago. And I saw this. Look at this skin for the ship on the left side. Like, just imagine this thing. See how badass it looks. By the way, this you see this tower looking thing on the left side? It could be a skin for your housing, for your freehold, for that thing. Okay. So obviously these are skins for your characters. This is a mount skin, and this is a pet. I don't know if it's for cosmetic pet or for real pets, because they're going to be fighting pets, I believe, battle pets as well. Not the World of Warcraft battle pets, like a hunter battle pets. That's all we know about it right now, but I'm super excited about it because here I'm going to put maybe one more screenshot of the different skins for both. So that's all we know right now. There's also going to be an activity called Castle Siege. It's purely for guilds. So there's going to be 5 castles in Vera's world, and those every month guilds are going to be fighting for controlling the castle. I don't really understand what happens when you get the castle, so we'll talk about it maybe later. But this is like a huge, big deal activity that you should know about. And the node siege. Remember I told you about the cities that you can build inside of the node? So the way it works is you can actually start the war against the city, and if you destroy that metropolis, I think there can only be one metropolis per node, and all the other cities are going to be small cities. So if you destroy that metropolis, first of all, you're going to get a lot of resources and stuff like that. You're going to have some kind of a relic that you will be able to place in your city and make your city more powerful. And the most important thing, remember those freeholds that I told you about, those separate housings that are located near the metropolis? For the next 2 hours after the after the metropolis gets destroyed, those freeholds are going to be destroyable as well. So you can literally destroy every single housing in that node if you defeat the node, which means everything in this game that you worked on can be destroyed in theory. However, it's going to be super hard to destroy it. The dev said that it's going to be much harder to be an attacker than it is to be a defender. And on top of that, when somebody declares a war, you have 6 days to prepare. They have 6 days to prepare. You can buy a lot of, defending tools and weapons and catapults and stuff like that. But if the enemy succeeds and they do destroy your node, it doesn't matter if you had an apartment, mansion. Oh, by the way, the inns are going to be hotels, and everything that is inside of metropolis or any village or town will be taxed. So they'll tax the fuck out of it. You would have to pay taxes for your apartment, for your mansion, for the freehold as well. So let's say you have a freehold and you've been playing this game for 6 months, and then some pieces of shit manage to destroy your city. If they come to you within the next 2 hours and they destroy your housing, they destroy everything that you build, I don't know what exactly you're going to lose. Maybe you're going to have some unobtainable things that will be wasted, will be lost forever. I don't know, but that is what they say. So you can literally lose everything you worked on like this. It's really hard, and it's probably never going to happen, but it's in theory it's possible. October 25th, Friday, this week, Alpha 2 starts, but I'm going to be watching other people's streams like a piece of shit loser because of my Alpha 2 key starts working on November 8th. The game works 3 days per week, every week. So every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the game is going to work. I will probably start streaming. I will 100% start streaming on November 8th. And I will try to stream all day, all 3 days, from the beginning to the end. We'll see how we're going to do with breaks. So I'll decide on the way. Hopefully this game is going to be a huge hit. And don't forget about Sunderfolk. Like I said, Mike Morhaime doesn't make shit, doesn't publish shit. Okay, I have to shut the fuck up. I'm just so happy that I'm making a video. I can't. You will never understand why I feel so cool right now. That's all.